The Scottish Government's own Just Transition Commission is a very measured, rather moderate group, but even it felt compelled to write to the Minister responsible for Just Transition just a few weeks ago. In their letter, they pulled no punches. Addressing inequalities, they said, should be a core strategic objective of Just Transition. There should be an audit of who benefits, of who pays, which groups in society will pay more and which groups will pay less. They called for co-design and meaningful engagement, a stable and settled workforce, which they said demands a step change in skills, credible roadmaps and an investment prospectus and plan. You can hear their growing impatience and their rising exasperation that 4 years on, from the government declaring a climate emergency, they are still having to ask, and I quote, how existing constraints to financing, skills and workforce capacity can be addressed. No wonder their patience is running out. And it's not only the Just Transition Commission, it's the Audit Commission too. The Auditor General's new report, out just today, is scathing about this SNP-Green Government. Let me quote him. The Scottish Government does not routinely carry out carbon assessments or capture the impact of spending decisions on its carbon footprint in the long term. The Scottish Government does not assess how far the policies outlined in the Climate Change Plan update will contribute to net zero. The Scottish Government does not know how much the policies proposed in the current Climate Change Plan update will cost. But what everyone in the country knows is that there are choices to be made. And they know that these are not technological choices, they are political choices. Because the path that we must follow is not about technocratic fixes and scientific solutions. It's about what type of society we live in. It's about how we live and how we might live. And it's about how we overturn the deep divisions of class which hold us back. It is a choice about whether we help the weak or the strong, whether we plan our economy or rely on the market, whether we deal simply with the effects of the current economic system or whether we set about changing the current economic system. Those are the choices the government must make. Now, on Tuesday, the new First Minister arrived in Parliament with a document under his arm entitled New Leadership, a Fresh Start. He spoke of trade unions and of fair work, declaring, we will take the workers of the North East with us on our just transition journey. And as we've heard on Wednesday, the new Cabinet Secretary for Net Zero and Just Transition visited INEOS in the morning and Forth Ports in Grangemouth in the afternoon to meet, I quote, with key stakeholders. Now, the Cabinet Secretary met with senior managers from INEOS, Ratcliffe's people, and did meet the trade union representatives at INEOS, but did not meet the trade unions at Forth Ports. So this afternoon, let me warn the new Cabinet Secretary not to pander to the Jim Ratcliffes of this world, who, as well as still wanting to frack across the central belt of Scotland, now wants to build a nuclear reactor right in the middle of Grangemouth. Let me warn her that a just transition, which really is just, means that we do not pander to those vested interests, but rather we take them on. Those whose only interest is in making money and the quick profit. A just transition, which really is just, means that we will tilt the balance of power in the economy in a new and better direction. There will need to be a whole system change, a decisive shift, a new kind of economy which includes public ownership, not least in energy. It will need to be bold, bolder than we imagine, because in truth, I do not think we will be accused by future generations of going too fast or of taking people by surprise. I think that we will be accused of going too slow, of nibbling away at the problem and of not being decisive enough. William Morris wrote in A Dream of John Ball, "Hard it is for the old world to see the new." We do want an earthly paradise. Why not? We should be drawing on the great unused reservoir of human talent and potential. Why not? We are world citizens with an obligation as well as a right to speak out, because our common humanity should unite us. Why not? And we can change the fundamental relations of power in the economy and in production through radical and rational reform. Why not? But all of that requires not only vision, it also demands leadership. It cries out for urgent government action. And in the end, it must be based on an understanding that these things will not happen spontaneously. They will not naturally evolve, and certainly not under the logic of capitalism. We will have to plan for them. And an understanding that this is not just an economic, an environmental, an ecological, a social and a political imperative, it is a moral one as well.